In 1960, three young climbers vanished into Everest's deadliest slopes, chasing a summit no one believed possible, without lights, without oxygen, and leaving behind a story that would divide the mountaineering world forever.
Hey, glad you're here. Welcome to the Himalayan Journals. Here on this channel, we bring to you real stories from century old field notes. We try to keep it simple and calm here. Think of it as a documented history of the Himalayas from the early 1900s, covering stories of indigenous wisdom, epic expeditions, and groundbreaking science passed on just as they were recorded. Subscribe, zone out, binge.
On 25th May 1960, three young Chinese mountaineers stood on the summit of Mount Everest. They had climbed by the difficult northern slopes, a route many climbers believed could not be done. Their names were Wang Fu Chu, Konbu, and Chu Yinhua. Each was about 25 years old, and none had more than 2 years of mountaineering experience. Wang Fu Cho was a geologist from Peking, Konbu a soldier of Tibetan nationality, and Chu Yinhua a lumberjack from Sichuan province. With them, 25 other Chinese climbers reached heights between 8,100 and 8,700 meters. The expedition itself numbered 214 men and women, one-third of them Tibetans, including workers, peasants, soldiers, teachers, students, scientists, and officials. The group averaged 24 years of age. Their work began long before the climb. A plan had been drawn up to carry out reconnaissance in 1958, training in 1959, and the ascent in 1960. In November 1958, a reconnaissance party went to Everest. Meteorological workers set up a weather observatory and a network reaching from Peking to the mountain. Scientists studied geology, hydrology, zoology, botany, surveying, and altitude physiology. These studies helped in choosing a safe route. In 1959, the climbers trained in technique, strength, and adaptation to altitude. In February, they climbed a peak of 6,177 meters in the Nyenchen Tangla Range. In July, a combined men's and women's team climbed Mustaq Atta, 7,546 meters high. After Mustaq Atta, they continued training while working at their own jobs. On 19 March 1960, the main party reached base camp at 5,120 meters near the Rongbuk Glacier. Advance parties had already set up camps at 5,400, 5,900, and 6,400 meters. On 25th March, in fine weather, the national flag was raised at base camp. Soon after, the march toward Everest began. A scout group led by Su Ching reconnoitered the route to the North Col at 7,007 meters. They worked through storms and fog, cutting steps and ice slopes and camping at 6,600 meters. After 10 hours of climbing, they found a safe route. Later, in early April, they built a safer road to the col with steps, ladders, and rope bridges. By April 25th, the climbers began their third acclimatization march. They pushed through storms, reached 7,400 meters, then 7,600 meters, and finally camps at 8,100 and 8,500 meters. They examined the second step at about 8,600 meters, a steep rock wall long considered unscalable. By mid-May, weather signs showed the monsoon was near. Forecasts suggested that 19th to 25th May would be the last good period. Supply teams carried equipment to 8,500 meters. On 24th May at 9:30 Peking time, Wang Fu-cho, Chu Yinhua, Conbu, and Liu Lianman left the assault camp. They reached the second step in intense cold. Liu Lianman climbed first but fell back 4 times. He then crouched on a narrow rock and gave Chu Yinhua a leg up on his shoulders. With ropes, the others followed. Their oxygen was running low and Liu Lianman was exhausted, so he stayed at 8,700 meters while the other 3 went on. Darkness fell. They had no lights. Their oxygen ran out at about 8,830 meters. Wang Fu-cho said, "We are shouldering the glorious task of storming the summit. Can we turn back?" The answer was, "Press ahead." They left their oxygen sets and climbed slowly through the night. At 4:20 Peking time on the 25th May 1960, they reached an oval crest of snow and rock. No peak stood higher. Conbu placed the national flag and a small plaster bust of Chairman Mao on a boulder. Wang Fu-cho wrote in his diary that 3 men had conquered Mount Jolmo-lungma at that hour. They picked up 9 rock specimens and began their descent. When they met Liu Lianman again, he offered them the oxygen he had saved. At 13:30 Peking time on 30 May, they returned safely to base camp with the rest of the climbing party. The expedition credited its success to careful preparation, training, and support from their country. Messages of congratulations came from many places, yet some mountaineering journals later questioned the claim, noting the lack of photographs and precise details. The ascent remained a subject of debate, but the story of that climb in May 1960 stayed fixed in the history of Everest's northern slopes.